Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar, 7 Best Practices to Become a Tableau Ninja for OBIEE. My name is Shankar Radhakrishnan. I'm the co-founder of BI Connector and CEO of Guidance. We are based in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we've been in existence since 2010. Today, in this session, we'll go through the following key concepts. First, we will look at how to connecting from Tableau to OBIEE, the challenges, typical challenges people face, and how we can get past that. Once you are able to connect from Tableau to OBIEE, the next step is, okay, what OBIEE is, once you have OBIEE as a data source, what are the challenges? What are the unique challenges presented by OBIEE compared to the other data sources? Then we will look at the 7 best practices to follow when you are modeling the data in OBIEE in Tableau. And we will actually walk through those 7 best practices through a demo. The slides has information about the various best practices, which we will share with you through the email. But during this session, we will actually walk through those best practices through an actual live demo. Finally, we will also look at a sneak preview of an upcoming add-on module to the BI Connector, which would allow you to connect from Tableau through OBIEE reports. So we'll walk through those 4 concepts, key concepts in this webinar. So with that, let's get started. So first, let's look at connecting from Tableau to OBIEE. The biggest challenge is that organizations have invested years and millions into building out the OBIEE RPD. They've built up their business model in OBIEE, set up the complex security models to ensure that the right folks have the right access to the right data, and also built out extensive reports to make it easy for end users to get access to this data. But the challenge so far has been, OBIEE from an end user experience has been very difficult to use. It requires rigorous training, and also it requires a lot of, to create reports and dashboards require extensive time. On the other hand, Tableau offers compelling self-service capabilities that are missing in OBIEE. But the challenge has been how to reuse the OBIEE metadata and security model when you're connecting from Tableau. So if you're able to get past that, then you will be able to take advantage of the data discovery capabilities, the visualization capabilities, the mashups, and the ease of learning things in Tableau, and finally the speed of change. You would be able to quickly model new analysis and then see the results and then make it into a part of your IT process. So how do you take advantage of these Tableau capabilities when you connect to OBIEE? What the biggest challenge so far has been when you connect from Tableau to OBIEE has been, since in the past there was no direct connection from Tableau to OBIEE, so the users have to jump through the hoops to get to the data. So they either create CSVs or staging area or database access, which requires a large amount of time. It's a manual process. It's inefficient. It's costly to maintain. Once you make some changes to the OBIEE, again, you have to redo all the things in terms of making changes to the way how you get the data out of OBIEE, export it out of OBIEE, and then bring it into Tableau. It also presents challenges in terms of data duplication, and not to mention the security issues. Now the data is well secured in OBIEE, but when you bring it out of OBIEE, then how do you manage make sure that you have the proper governance on the data in terms of right people getting access to the right data? And the last one is also the information consistency. So when you have in OBIEE, you have a data that is well built, well developed, and then you have the confidence that the results are correct. But once you take it out of OBIEE and then you do your own analysis, then you have to make sure that the data that you see, the results that you see in Tableau conforms with what you would see from the OBIEE. So you have to manage these inconsistencies. So this presents complex challenges. Other challenge is that the native ODBC driver doesn't work when you connect from Tableau to OBIEE. So it's very difficult. It has not been easy to get connected to OBIEE. on top of that, it requires extensive changes in OBIEE. You have to expose the primary keys in order for it to be consumed in Tableau. And that presents a lot of challenges in terms of the time it takes to go through the development cycle to get those things done. And also, even if you do get past those, it's very difficult to administer over a large number of users. So given all these challenges, that's where the BI connector helps in terms of connecting from Tableau to OBIEE. Provides a seamless user experience where you can connect from within Tableau with your own user name and password for OBIEE into the OBIEE metadata RPD and take advantage of all the business logic that you have set up in OBIEE. On top of that, you're taking advantage of the security model that is already built into OBIEE. Since you're using the OBIEE username and password, you're only making sure that you have access to only to the analysis, the subject areas, and the data that you have access through the OBIEE. So it's just like connecting from an OBIEE client, except that you're getting the power of Tableau and accessing the data from within Tableau. And you don't have to make any changes to the OBIEE. You can reuse all the data model that you built in OBIEE without making even a single change in OBIEE. It's easy to install. You can quickly get it up and running within a few minutes. And you're able to take advantage of all the benefits of Tableau, such as mashups, quick analysis, the speed of change, etc. And the information is consistent. When you create a report, when you create an analysis in OBIEE, get the results, you would see the same results when you create a similar report in Tableau. So that consistency is huge, is a huge advantage. And so finally, you're able to bring together the best of Tableau, the visualization and the self-service capability of Tableau with these metadata repository and the security model of OBIEE. And you're able to take advantage of the existing work that you've already done in OBIEE. So now, let's say you have OBIEE as a data source in Tableau, we'll walk through the demo here. But when you use Tableau to connect to data sources such as Excel or SQL database, it's fairly straightforward. You're connecting to a table and it's very simple, or you're connecting to a worksheet inside Excel. On the other hand, when you're connecting to OBIEE, it is not the same. So OBIEE is unlike any other data source. It has its own for several reasons. One is the data volume. So the data volume in OBIEE is it's your enterprise repository, so the data volumes will be huge. Fact tables will have hundreds of millions of rows, for example. And the metadata, so it has a complex metadata. It has its own unique way in which you have set it up, your metadata. The schema is also complex. We'll go through some of those scenarios here in terms of how you could have multiple star schemas within a single subject area. And also there are joins in OBIEE which you're going to take advantage of from within Tableau. So you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the existing joins in OBIEE. And the last one is OBIEE has its own security model, which you're going to take advantage of. So BI Connector helps get you past all of these challenges in terms of OBIEE, but there are still, in order to get the best out of when you connect from Tableau to OBIEE, there are 7 simple best practices that you can follow. I will just list them out here, and then when we go through the demo, we will walk through each one of these best practices one by one. The first one is you have to know your OBIEE data model. So this is important because you want to be able to build the analysis on top of the OBIEE data model. So it's good to understand that OBIEE data model, what it is, how it looks like, what are the folders, what are the subject areas, which folders, which columns, and which folders will get you the right results and so on. Second one is follow the KISS principle. Basically, keep it simple. So Tableau is great in kind of quickly analyzing the data, but when you start out with connecting from OBIEE, you want to start out small. So we'll go through that from a demo perspective. The third principle is stay within the star schema. So there could be multiple star schemas within a single subject area. So, but you want to stay, when you create a report, you want to stay within a single star schema because OBIEE doesn't perform very well when you go across star schemas within a single subject area. The fourth one is don't touch that update now, which we'll see in a minute. The fifth one is uncheck the auto update worksheet. This is helpful from a performance perspective. The sixth one is use filters because of the data volume that you're going to see in the OBIE. The last one is Tableau provides an opportunity to quickly extract data and then bring it into memory inside Tableau, but you want to first start with the worksheet and then go to the extract capability. So let's walk through these 7 best practices through a demo of connecting from Tableau to OBIE. What I'll do is I have a note that quickly tells me the Tableau OBIE best practices here. So these are the 7 best practices. I'm going to have it as a reminder at the top, and I'm going to bring up the Tableau desktop. So hopefully you all see the Tableau desktop here. And before, the first principle is, the first best practice is know your OBIE data model. Before you even go to the Tableau desktop, you want to bring up your OBIE data model. So the first thing, let's start with, when you start out initially to model your OBIE reports inside Tableau, you want to know what data model exists in your OBIE. So this is the OBIE, you just ask through the analysis answers. So I've brought it up here. So this is a simple, let's go here, let's bring up the analysis. I'm selecting the sample sales slide, which is a sample schema inside OBIE. You want to make sure you understand the subject areas that are available to you through the user. I have logged in using a typical user. In this case, the name of the user is WebLogic. So this is just like another user to the OBIE. And here I see the 6 subject areas: time, products, offices, orders, base packs, calculated packs. Let's look at products, for example. It has a subfolder. So the reason I'm showing that is that there are subtle differences in the way OBIE renders these folders compared to how Tableau handles folders. So we will look at that, but you want to understand how your metadata looks like in OBIE before you get to the Tableau. So you've seen an example. So here there's a products folder, and then there's a subfolder of more product objects, which has the columns product type key, LOB, brand key, product sequence, etc. So you've seen the model, metadata model in OBIE. Just keep it open. So let's jump to the Tableau desktop. So now the first step is let's connect. How do you connect to OBIE? So we use the other databases. In this case, this is my PC. I have installed BI connector on this, and I have created a data source DSN, which is similar to creating an ODBC DSN. So I have the OBIE connect here, which is a DSN. And then I press connect. So that brings up the BI connector UI. So in this case, this is subject areas. Let's start with the subject areas. And this is the URL that you would use for OBIE to connect to OBIE. So this would be like your OBIE's URL would be guidance tab obie1.cloudapp.net/analysis would be the URL that you would use from a browser to connect to OBIE, and then the username and password. So once you do, you're just connecting. So now you're connected to OBIE. So you're connected to your OBIE subject areas, the subject areas to which you have access. So you can see the same subject areas that you saw earlier in the browser. So let's pick sample sales slide here. And the schema is typically the same. It'll be the sample sales slide also. Now you can pick the tables here. So this would be the folders under the OBIE. So remember I said you have to know your OBIE data model. In the case of OBIE provides the option to structure your folders in a hierarchical fashion, in a folder inside a folder, but Tableau doesn't support that model. It presents a flat approach. So here you would see, and also the other important point is that the folders are listed in an alphabetical order. So it's slightly different from how we are used to seeing it in OBIE. So you need to get used to that concept. So it takes a few minutes to get used to that. Once you're used to that, you can search, you can use the Tableau search capability, etc., to get to the right subject area. So here you see base packs, calculated flags, and more office, more product objects, etc. So remember, more product object was actually a subfolder under the products. But when we bring it inside Tableau, it comes in as a flat structure. So it's important to know which folder has which columns and so on. So let's start with base facts. So all you have to do is click on it. It brings into the join area. Let's bring in the orders. Let's bring in products, and let's bring in time. So this brings us to the next best practice. So keep it simple. Typically, you don't want to bring all your subject areas, all the folders in your subject areas into this join area and then see what happens. You want to start small. You want to start with one base fact and then one or two subject areas. So this, especially when you're creating your first report, because you want to make sure you understand how Tableau works with respect to the OBIEE, create your first reports, understand how it works, and then you can start creating complex reports. So let's start. In this case, I've gone a little, I would say the simple one. It's a simple schema, base facts with orders, products, and time. And the other part, which also brings us to the third best practice: stay within the star schema. You would, in a typical enterprise environment, your subject area could have multiple, one or more than one star schema within a single subject area. And when you bring in the folders from those stars from the subject area into the join area, you want to make sure that the folders are within a single star schema, because when you send this query back, this query is going to be executed in the OBIEE through the BI connector. And OBIEE doesn't like when you combine multiple star schemas in a single query. So you want to make sure that you get the right results, and in order to do that, but you want to bring in the folders from within a single star schema. In this case, the base facts, orders, product, time, they all fall within the star schema. And here, you don't have to do any joins or anything. So BI connector behind the scenes virtually manages the joins and makes sure that you are taking advantages of the joins in OBIEE. It doesn't create any additional join between these folders. It actually reuses all the joins that you have set up in OBIEE. So now once you have done that, well, it's very tempting to press this update now. It's okay. Sometimes it's okay when you have a small small folders with small set of data. But when you are dealing with a base facts which has hundreds of millions of rows, you don't want to do update now, because that's going to send a query from Tableau into OBIEE to fetch all the data. So hold off on that update now. Instead, let's go to the worksheets here. So in this case, the first step that I would, now we are going to the best practices number 5 here. So in this case, you want to uncheck the auto update worksheet. So here, there's this capability where Tableau provides the update option to uncheck the auto update. So let's do that. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to build your model without hitting the OBIEE every time you're dragging and dropping something from the panel here into these columns and rows. So let's create a simple report. I'll bring a per name here. I'll bring in the office. I'll bring in an order type. Okay, and then I'll bring in the product type. Let's bring in revenue, and then now you're ready to go. So once you press this, remove the uncheck check the auto update, you're instantly seeing the results. These results are actually fetched from OBIEE into Tableau, and the query is executed in OBIEE, and the results are fetched. So now let's say you want to add another column, target revenue. The ideal way to do that would be to uncheck this auto update and then drag and drop it. But since we are just adding an extra column here, we have added it. So in this case, the target revenue is 0 because of the way the OBIEE is set up and the query is set up in OBIEE. But if you just remove, if you remove this, you will actually see it will fetch the data. So this is very simple. It brings up quickly. Let's quickly do another chart here. Can remove this. Let's bring in a quick per name per year, per quarter. When you have a large amount of data, you want to set off the auto update here. But since this is just we are hitting a small amount of data, I'm just using that. Product type. You can apply your filters. Let's say we want to go only with Q1s. Let's go with (2008), Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Let's bring in the revenue. Let's bring in the target revenue. And let's see a different visualization here. Or you can see this, different types of visualization. So it becomes, once you bring in the data, it becomes very easy to figure out what visualization, what analysis that you want to do, and you want to apply the filters. So especially when you're hitting a large amount of data, you want to make sure that you use the right filters, right, for the various, either whether it's the time factor or whether it's the time dimension or the product dimension or any other dimension. You want to make sure that you use the filters to minimize the data that you're fetching from OBIEE into Tableau so that your performance is better. The query performance is better. So these are very simple things that you can follow when you connect from OBIEE, from Tableau to OBIEE. Now, the one point, let's quickly go back to the data source tab. So you created your worksheet, first worksheet, colorful worksheet, where provides good information regarding what you want to see from the OBIEE data. Now, one of the key advantages of Tableau is that you can extract this data into Tableau's in-memory and then do an offline analysis. So that you can do with extract here. Now, typically you would, we always recommend that you first build the worksheet, see how the data looks, and then do an extract. Once you get familiar with the data model, then you start doing the extract. And in the extract, you can do edits, you can add your filters, whatever you want. Also, one of the other features that you can use is the incremental refresh. So in the case of incremental refresh, you can actually set up the data to refresh periodically, either in the case of calendar date. So this would be helpful so that when you want to fetch data from OBIEE into Tableau's memory periodically and not keep hitting it every time you're doing your query. So that way it would be helpful. And the other feature that you would want to use in the extract is hide all unused fields. Typically, when you do an extract, and let me go back here, when you do an extract at this point using these 4 different folders, it's going to do a join across all these columns from all the folders. So that's almost maybe like a 50 or 60 different columns here. And you may not need all these columns when you do an analysis. So in that case, you can actually go here, hide the unused fields. And in this case, it will be limited to the columns that you brought up in the worksheet. And then once you have that, now you can do an extract and do further analysis based on the data that you have extracted from OBIEE. So the advantage of this approach is that the query will be, performance will be fast, will be much better, and you will get your data back from OBIEE into Tableau much faster, and you will be able to do subsequent analysis from within the Tableau data very easily. So that's the big advantage of this. First, the last principle, which is first do the worksheet, then doing the extract, and also using the hide unused fields and also incremental refresh, etc., or adding filters and so on. So now we have seen how to create a quick report, so a quick worksheet in Tableau. So you've seen that. Now, let's go through how to publish this. You want to make sure that you, so as a power user, let's say you've created this wonderful small worksheet. So you want to publish it and share with your colleagues. So you can connect to your Tableau server. So in this case, so it quickly connects. So you're connected to the Tableau server. One of the things that you need to remember when you connect your Tableau server is that, and when you use BI connector with the Tableau server, is that the data source DSN that you have set up in your desktop should match the DSN name that you have set up in your Tableau server for BI connector. So here it was OBIEE Connect, if you remember earlier. So the DSN name for in the Tableau server should also be OBIEE Connect. So now you have your worksheet. You just want to publish it to first thing you can do is you can publish the data source. So this will bring up the published data source to Tableau server. Here you can set up the authentication, whether you can prompt the user or you can embed the password. So let's choose embed the password. If you choose prompt user, which is more secure, which is a different approach in that sense, every time a user logs into that particular worksheet or a particular data source from within Tableau server or through the Tableau server, they're going to be prompted for their own username and password. If on the other hand, you want to share this worksheet with just the data and you don't want the end users to be prompted for username and password, you would use the embed password here. So you can publish it. So there's already a data source that exists, but I'll say, let's say, overwrite it. So the data source is now published in the Tableau server. Let's go back. One thing I want to give a quick sneak preview is the ability to connect to Tableau OBIEE reports from Tableau. So this is a new feature that's available as an add-on to BI Connector, and it's currently in the beta, available to select customers who are, as a beta program. So we'll close this. So in this case, we'll choose the DSN OBIEE Connect reports. We'll connect the reports here. We have chosen the reports here. So now you are connected to the catalog of reports available in the OBIEE. So you can see all the reports that are available to me and the WebLogic and with the username of WebLogic. So let's pick and choose. Let's quickly search for the one that you would like to see. Let's say we want to bring in order details, which is a report that has been created in OBIEE. So now this, because the order details becomes available as a table, similar to a table in Tableau. So you can see all the data available here. Once you have it here, now you can model it using just like another data source inside Tableau. So in this case, let's say we want to see by order type, and then by product, and you want to see the sum of revenue, and you want to see how this looks like. So for each, so this becomes a very efficient way to provide end users with access to the reports that have already been created in OBIEE. So you are reusing all the work that you have created over the last several years in OBIEE and making it available with a much better visualization, modern visualization. And also, it provides, from an end user perspective, it provides the flexibility to allow them to choose which columns they want to see, how they want to see it, and what visualization they want to see. It brings the power of Tableau to the OBIEE reports capability. So this is a new feature that will be available during the summer this year, but we just wanted to give you a sneak preview. And if anyone is interested in doing participating in this beta program, please reach out to us via email or through our website, and we will include you in the beta program so that you can try out this new capability. So now, going back to the presentation here. So we have, in this slide deck, we have all the details of all the different 7 principles, so which we will share with you so that you can keep it as a, you can review it at your convenience. So I'm not going to go through them again, but here's a quick recap of the 7 best practices. The first one is, of course, know your OBIEE data model so that you can choose the right columns and get the right results from within Tableau. Follow, keep it simple. The second one is keep it simple. The third one is stay within the star schema in a subject area. Don't combine multiple star schemas within a single folder, within a single subject area. And don't touch, be cautious about using the update now, because in the case of OBIEE, you're hitting millions and millions of rows, and you don't want, unless you have the right filters, you don't want to use that update now button in the Tableau. Uncheck the auto update worksheet. Use that when you want to fast track the queries from Tableau into OBIEE, and use filters so that you can get the right data that you into Tableau and not fetch all the millions of records into Tableau. And before you do an extract, always try to create a worksheet. So you make sure that you're able to visualize the data, and then you can extract it and then subsequently build up on top of it. So those are the 7 best practices. Now, so the benefits of these best practices is that as a business user, you will be able to access OBIEE data live or extract it as needed, depending upon how you want to access the data. You'll be able to access it via browser or the Tableau desktop. You'll be able to do take advantage of the Tableau's visualization, modern visualization capability, the mashups across between OBIEE data with a SQL Server or Excel data, for example, or even between multiple subject areas. You can do those mashups and blending capability. And you can publish it to your colleagues through the Tableau server and consume it. The end users can consume it very easily. And if you're in the IT, it enables you to provide a governed OBIEE data source for Tableau users. You don't have to make any changes in OBIEE. You don't have to do, no coding is required. And in some cases, if you have some OBIEE performance issues, you can use the Tableau with the OBIEE connector to alleviate the performance, because you can take advantage of Tableau's in-memory capability to provide the query acceleration or acceleration that you need for the end users. And you're able to connect, whether you have OBIEE 10G or 11G or 12C, you're able to provide those as a data source to the Tableau users. So with that, that kind of brings us to the end of this presentation. So if you haven't yet tried BI Connector, I invite you to try. Go to our website. There's a free trial button at the top. You can click on it to download the latest version of BI Connector's desktop. We're at 1.2, which has which we released recently with much better performance, with significant performance improvements when you connect from Tableau to OBIEE. And if you're interested in participating in the OBIEE Reports Beta Program, please contact us at support@bieconnector.com, and we'll be happy to include you in the beta program. But we typically encourage you to try the BI Connector that is already available on the website. Try it out with your subject areas so that you understand how it works, and then the reports becomes much straightforward after that, once you are familiar with the BI Connector and how you connect from Tableau to OBIEE. Thank you for taking the time to join us, and if you have any questions, please send us an email at support@bieconnector.com or through the website, and you can also contact us via phone number that's available on our website. Let us know if you have any questions. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.